Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, wonderful, wonderful individual. Today, I would like to speak about climbing the spiritual ranks. Well, climbing the spiritual ranks have always been a thing since, ancient times, truly. From the first scholastic schools of spirituality to, well, the secret mysteries and so on. And today it is more about the understanding, the depth, and also, the width and breadth of the whole situation and of, as much as possible, truly. The more details, the better. Of course, we also need to see the whole at the same time. The more we can spiritualize and have alive and have a reality to it, where we truly can see things for what it is within our imagination and clairvoyant abilities, as accurate as possible and also alive, changing, developing. The more we get to truly connect into this cosmic evolution, where you feel everything is alive and everything is in movement. When you breathe, your breath brings life-giving air to your body, where it also flows through your blood and brings warmth, and everything is alive, everything is in movement. Every cell is, constantly working upon being you. And your ego is the leader of all of these. So, everything you put into your body and turn into you. It doesn't turn, you don't become what you eat, thankfully. But you use what you eat to use as building blocks for your body. So it converts to your body, obviously. After 7 years, you have changed every single cell in your being, but your ego, you are still the same. So let's just in theory think, if you for 7 years are cultivating, training, practicing, eating correctly, purifying, you will have changed out your cells to healthy, life-giving cells that also is, much more sharper, quicker, and so on. Of course, it takes time, 7 years. And we have 7-year cycles constantly. From 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, 21 to 28, 28 to 35, 35 to 42, 40, and so on. My math is not the best, but it is about feeling those things, because we are cultivating different things based on these 7-year cycles. And the most prominent and most important of the 7-year cycles are from 28 to 35. And that is because that is where you awaken to your own I am and have the ability to look back on your memories in life and reflect upon them. Not everything at first, but certain things now. And then you can slowly but surely work yourself into remember more and more and more. Work upon it, remember it, practice, stable, because the thing with memories, what I have come to a personal experience with, is when you remember something, let's say you go back to the past, and you remember something that is painful, you remember exactly what you felt like when that made an impression on you. And then you make pictures around it. Now, this pain is in the past. It is not anymore. But the pain is still there. The experience is in the past. And the pain is kind of also there in the past. The more you sit with that pain, comfort that child, feel it, reflect on it, and trying to understand it. Seeing what you have learned from it, what lessons you can. This, of course, also requires courage, fortitude, real inner spiritual strength. That requires willpower and dedication, resolve to the work. And that is how you climb the spiritual ranks, by following along on the promptings from the higher realms, from the higher hierarchy. And the higher you climb, the higher the beings you work with. So when you work with angels, you work from individual to individual. When you work with archangels, you work through nations. When you work with archai, you work through the global, and so on. And when you work in the moral, in the loving, in the objectively moral, the true, think about a being, a spiritual being, like the seraphim, cherubim thrones. Of course, these are so sublime a beings that, since they are the first hierarchy, they are in the direct gaze of the Godhead. They are given direct orders from the Godhead. And, well, that their love for reality, for everything they create, for the throne, sacrifice their own heat, substance, for Pete's sake, to create what they love to create, reality. And then the second and the first hierarchy start working upon it to condense and to work and to build and evolve, and it's amazing. I love the higher hierarchy. They are so dedicated to their beautiful spiritual reality. And the more we tap into, well, devotion, reverence, and respect them, a feeling for love of our higher siblings, the more they are willing to help us, to connect to us, to show us what they can do, what they are, what they have to bestow upon mankind. Of course, not anymore from the physical, but from the feelings, from our thoughts, from our inner spiritual development. That is how they connect to us. And that is also how we lift ourselves up through I'm just calling it spiritual ranks, but they really are not ranks. It is just about how developed are you? How much have you studied? How much have you experienced? How much have you deepened in comprehension and also in compassion? You see? It is all about accumulating knowledge, accumulating understanding, experience to truly help the world. Your intention for all of the accumulation is not for power, it's not for hoarding, it's not for control or manipulation. It is for a pure heart, and by you showing that to the divine, they give you the right proper inspiration and insight to give out. And it brings more comfort and upliftment and warmth, because you do not try to break anyone down. You try to show that there are ways to lift yourself up through your own effort and activity. Not allowing yourself to be swayed by anyone's opinion or anyone's standards and so on. You stick to the practice, you stick to the path, and you hold to that vision. So the more you do it, the more you develop yourself. The more you strengthen your ego within your body, allowing yourself to think more clearly and spiritually, feel more deeply, be more sensitive, sense everything around you truly. Because the more you can handle everything you can sense, the more you're able to work upon this world ether, allowing healing. Without judging it, without condemning it. Because if we do, these beings will just run to other human beings, you see. So we'd rather just take them by the butt and trap them within us, and then transform them, redeem them. They are trapped with us, you see. When in an old myth, the kingdom of shadow tried to take the kingdom of light by storm. Obviously, this didn't bode well for the kingdom of shadow. So when the kingdom of light won, they couldn't punish the kingdom of shadow with anything but good. So what they did was they blended a little of the light into the shadow and balanced, so that we can transform the shadow to light over many, many lifetimes. And we are kind of have come from that duality, and now we are, though, a threefold human being. Of course, we have come far since then, since the Persian times and so on. But it is about how we are to develop today. And we have been given guidance and hints and pinpointers in the past. Of course, we are not meant to take the past and bring it here to the future. We are meant to take all the teachings from many different civilizations, from all the different civilizations, see how they have developed in a stream, and see where we are going. We are not meant to find specific and then sit lazy there. We are meant to be active, in effort, move forward, not become complacent, not rest on our laurels, move forward, always, because when you are busy with activity, with keeping yourself alive, not alive by surviving, keeping your inner soul spirit alive, let it shine out. It literally will shine out more or less from your aura. You are giving the world something good. You're giving the world life. You are giving out a good impulse, and you will be remembered for it. And if not, God will remember you for it. The Akashic record will remember you for it. You will be remembered as one of the people that was there helping, building, and purifying the world ether, so that we could in the future build Philadelphia. We are the forerunners, all of us. So it is important that we have a responsibility, a feeling of that pressure, a little pressure to grow, pressure to be better, pressure to be spiritual. It is a good path, it is a wonderful path, and it is extremely fun. But it is all about putting the right connotation of fun, Fun means it is delightful to develop. It is delightful to sit still, meditate, to think purely, actively with your own thoughts, feeling with your own feeling. When I say think purely, then I mean imagine a square. Now you have a square in your head. Now you can take that square and you can spin it, and you can do a lot with your imagination. That was just an example. And you can do that actively with your own ego, stand strong within your own being. That is how we also do experiments and explore and try to find out what is out there with our senses, and also from within. It is all about being precise and trying to be meticulous about it. The more you are meticulous and trying to really use your sense of sharpness, but also a sense of love at the same time, that it's a perfect balance there, as you see, then you are stimulating your whole being. You stimulate life, you stimulate your own movement within you, and you are constantly pushing yourself up a hill, and you put more and more rocks on a cart that you push up that hill. So you are building spiritual muscles and organs for the future, for everyone to be able to partake in. We do this for all of mankind. That is the sacrifice we make, and this sacrifice is delightful to make. For me, at least. It is something you come into over time. To have every day be an opportunity to connect to the divine. As I said in the last video, it's carrot on a stick. The more we go into it, the more they show us, and the more it is a sacrifice. But you got to have faith that they will help you and do so. It is really about faith, love, hope. Faith in the higher realms, love for mankind and development of all of Earth, and hope for future development. And it is a very delightful path. So, of course, there is variations to these paths, and I am strong in certain areas, but extremely weak in other areas. But you are strong in certain areas, and maybe others can shield for you where you are weak, you see. But it is about strengthening also, and always sharpening oneself so that one have as few weaknesses as possible. So that we have the cross on our back, shielding, so no one can stab there. Since we stick to the moral path, and we can vouch for ourselves, we truly can go back many, and more or less we reflect upon every day. We know what we do, so we do not let ourselves do silly things that we cannot account for. At least we shouldn't. And if you can't account for it, you should meditate and reflect and forgive yourself for these things so that you can account for it. The skeletons in the closet and so on. These things of course takes time, and some things take really long to heal. But it is about at least having the resolve to start, to begin, and to start climbing that ladder. It is but a symbolic speech, of course. But you know, the more you go into it, the more you will be. The Lord's work is never in vain. And your individual path is important. You are very important, you little beautiful genius. You big beautiful genius, I would dare say. Because our aura is pretty big. So, of course, unless you actually hide yourself, and that is when you push your aura into your body more or less. But being yourself, just not minding, not being afraid, not being nervous, what others might think, you stand with a straight back, chest out, you know. This is the right work, the work is right, the work is beautiful. God is amazing. Christ, Holy Spirit. I will leave you with this. May Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, my God, bless you on this beautiful, amazing path. And your individual journey, that you, on the explorations you are going to find. And we are, if destiny allows it, we will maybe meet in the future. So, love you all. Thank you so much. Bless you. Goodbye.